I am so happy that you're able to join us for this extended interview. Make sure to visit theoffbeatlife.com. Again, that's theoffbeatlife.com to get more killer resources. Hey everyone, thank you so much for coming back and joining us for this extended interview with Minou, where she is going to share with us how you can become a certified coach. Hey Minou, how are you?
I'm great. Thank you. How about you?
I am wonderful. So before we get to your tips, can you tell us a little bit more about you and why you live an offbeat life?
Yes. Okay, so I live an offbeat life since about 3 years. I've been living in Lebanon Beirut, Lebanon for 11 years. And since 3 years, I really travel, I think 70% of my time with or without my husband. And I take my work with me. And why? I guess because of the freedom, the ability, the luxury to see the world, to experience the world as it is, to connect with people, and to combine that with my work, which is really how I always envisioned my life to be.
So you are now a certified life coach, and I'm sure a lot of people are interested in doing this. Now, before we get to you actually giving us tips on how to become one, who should be the people that are supposed to go into this? Because there are a lot of people that say they are coaches and they're business coaches or life coaches. And the first thing that I always ask someone when they tell me they're a business coach is, how many businesses have you started?
Yes.
And I've only met one business coach that actually had 4 or 5 businesses, or actually started a business that is a business coach. And most of the time, business coaches, their first business is their business coaching business.
Exactly.
So, I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. And there's definitely a lot of people who will allow you to create a successful business, even though they're not a business coach. But for me, that's where I have that line of if they're actually an expert. So who should actually
Yes.
become one?
Yes, exactly. So it's great that you actually mentioned that, because it is a big question at the moment, because nobody, everybody, as you say, everybody can call themselves a coach, and it's not a regulated profession yet. What I would like to differentiate a little bit here is between expert, between coach, and consultancy or mentor. So a lot of people combine coaching with mentoring or consultancy, which is based on giving advice and guiding people through certain processes, for example, business. So when you have the expertise on a certain subject matter, you can then share that expertise so other people can learn from that. In principle, that is not what a coach does. A coach is an expert in the coaching process and understand what a coaching process is and can guide their clients through that process. So expert coaches who say, I'm an expert, I'm a coach in this or that, they oftentimes bring in the expertise that they have already through their work or their life, and then bring in coaching and bring that together, combining advisory or advice with coaching. Now, the challenge here is twofold. First of all, if they call themselves an expert in a certain field, are they actually an expert in that field, what you just mentioned? And second, if they call themselves a coach, what does that mean? And maybe to talk a little bit about that, because it is extremely important when you are a coach that you understand what a coaching process is. And not only understand that, but that you learn how to take a client through a coaching process, which comes with a lot of also psychology background, for example. So people who are interested in becoming a coach, I would really, really advise them, first and foremost, to connect with the International Coach Federation. The International Coach Federation is an independent body that accredits coach trainings. And they do that at different levels, different coach training durations. So there's trainings of a few days to really like comprehensive programs of a year or more. But they are really the international body that certifies organizations to provide coach training. And why is that so important? because it protects the profession of coaching. You know, a lot of people always say, you don't need the paper. It's just the paperwork. But that's not what a coach training is. It's not having the right papers. It is about really becoming an expert in the coaching process. And once you do that, you can actually become a really powerful coach and then combine that with your expertise.
Yeah, I mean, I guess you can't really become a great coach unless you have the expertise, first of all, and then also the time that you've spent in it and the relationships that you're making, because this is one-on-one or even with a group. It's all about the connections you make with people. And it takes time to learn all of that and to learn how to be a good connector.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, I speak to a lot of people and I also speak to coaches. I have met coaches who have called themselves a coach, but when we talk about the coaching process and they have no education at all about coaching, that they do not properly understand the coaching process. And for people who are looking for a coach, that is really a problem because they don't know. They don't know the difference. They need to trust that the person they are connecting with is actually a qualified person. So I think that's really important for coaches, I think, to also commit to professionalization and keeping the standards high of what the coaching profession is really about.
I mean, if you don't have the expertise and the know-how, then it's just giving advice to friends. I mean, you know what I mean? Like anyone
exactly,
can
and that
do
happens
that.
a lot. Yes, you know, the number one rule for coaches, if they are purely a coach, we don't advise people what to do. Never, ever. So if they combine that with mentoring or consulting or advisory, then that's fine. But then you need to be clear on that because that's not coaching.
So now, where can somebody go to actually get certified? How did they know that this institution or this program is the right one and it's actually legit?
Yes. So as I mentioned before, what they could do is go to the website of the International Coach Federation. On their website, you can find an extensive list of all the coach trainings in the world that they have accredited as qualified and solid coach training on different levels. So that would be, I think, my advice for anybody who wants to become a coach. Start there, start reading on that website, start going through all the different kinds of coach training. There's coach training that is really purely focused on the coaching process. And also in that, there are so many different methodologies. There's also coach training that deals with certain subjects. For example, do you want to become a transition coach or do you want to be an executive coach? So there's all kinds of different ways of getting to that certification. So the International Coach Federation is absolute the starting point for anybody to start looking for coach training.
Great. And now, who do you think is the best candidate to be a coach, a certified coach?
It's maybe a bit of a personal answer, obviously, to that. I think there's a few things that are really important as a coach. First of all is empathy. And then I say empathy versus sympathy. So it's not about being sympathetic with people, but being empathetic with people. People skills. It's about making an honest and authentic, real connection with people. And I think one of the most important things as a coach is being able to be completely non-judgmental and disconnect from any expectation you might have yourself of your clients, your agenda, what you think is important in life. It doesn't matter. It is really about the ability to remove everything of your attachment out of relationships and truly support other people in finding out what is important for them, no matter how crazy that might sound to you. It doesn't matter because this is about their life. And I think the most important skill is non-judgment and I guess detached attachment.
Yeah.
So being attached to the process of somebody and guiding them through that, but not being attached to the story behind it or the story that we make out of it ourselves.
Yeah. And I think for regular people who are just giving advice, I mean, it's really hard to do that. It's hard not to judge.
It is very hard because that's how we make sense of the world, right? In everything, we judge all the time. But as a coach in particular, you don't judge that person and the person you work with, whatever it is that they want to manifest in their lives, be it within the legal parameters of our society, of course. And I think that non-judgment is something that you can consciously practice. So I would absolutely advise that for people who want to become a coach or are practicing to become one. Practice your non-judgment, remove your judgment. The stories that we create, we make so many stories about things in our lives and other people in particular. So start practicing with not doing that anymore.
That's how you know you're going to be a good coach, if you can actually do that.
Oh, yes, absolutely. That's a great skill to master.
So, Minou, is there anything that you're currently doing that is really exciting to you?
Yes, absolutely. At the moment, it's nice that you ask. I'm actually working on a new program that's coming at in the second part of this year. And that is really focusing on launching a brand new Inner Circle Mastermind program later this year that focuses on leadership, be it self-leadership or team leadership for entrepreneurs, managers, leaders, all walks of life, but really focusing on taking authentic leadership to the next level and looking at the underlying operating systems of ourselves and the organizations that we work with or in. So that's really challenging. I'm very much looking forward to that. And it's going to be a fantastic, I guess, mind-shifting program that I'm really happy to put out there.
That is really exciting. I can't wait to learn more about that.
Thank you.
If our listeners want to know more about you, maybe they want you to be their coach or they want to know more about certification, where can they find you?
They can find me. I'm on my website, which is minouhexspoor.com. There you can find information about me, about my background, about the leadership and life coaching that I do, the workshops, the team workshops that I do. So that will be the first place to go. You can also find information there to connect with me directly through phone or email or any other resource. And people can find me on Instagram at the Nomad Coach, which is the.nomad.coach, to see more about my life and my work combined there. So feel free to reach out, especially for people who would like to know more also about the new program coming up. Feel free to connect and we can always have a chat.
Perfect. Thank you so much for joining us today. I really appreciate it.
Thank you very much for having me. It was wonderful talking with you.
I hope you enjoyed this extended interview with Minou. Make sure to visit theoffbeatlife.com. Again, that's theoffbeatlife.com to get the full interview with Minou, where she shares how she's able to support nomads and expats to live a happy and fulfilling life as a traveling coach. Thanks for joining me on this extended interview. Don't forget to subscribe and leave a review on iTunes. We can also chat some more on Facebook at The OB Life. I'll talk to you soon.